So it's my point of view that the business model for blockchain exists in 3 layers. Now, the foundation layer is about creating a single view of the truth or trusted data at the level of a market or a market segment. Now, what's terribly important here are volumes. There's only really one space or one ecosystem to exist for one purpose in one market segment, perhaps bounded by regulation. So therefore, what you need to do is you need to make sure that your ecosystem is going to get over a tipping point of volumes and become the dominant player in your marketplace. And in order to achieve that, you may need to give extra incentives to the first few folks onboarding onto your ecosystem to give them extra incentive to want to play and to want to play nicely. Now, there's a number of ways you could do this. You could form an initial consortium with a few players already with large market share, or you could, in a more fragmented market, or if you didn't have access to those players easily, you could choose to share out parts of your business, either the revenue line, profit line, or the equity line, to drive extra recruitment until you get to that tipping point. Now, once you have that critical mass of data, then you can then start to innovate on top of it, and you can start to create a whole new generation of services. It's my point of view that it's quite important that this innovation layer is open. So in other words, any entrepreneur can come forward and look to create an innovative app to run on your marketplace and to use the data. Now, a couple of principles very important here. First of all, the provider of the data to the network is the owner and the governor of that data. So therefore, you need to give permission every time for your data to be shared with that app, and you may well be happy with the benefits of the app itself, or as an extra incentive, you may get a share of the upside in terms of the revenue generated by that app. And certainly, rather like the Apple App Store, it would be normal practice for the App Store itself, for the newco, which is running this network, to take a percentage of the revenues generated by these innovative new apps. However, I think there is a third layer that sits above this middle innovation layer, which is when we start to move towards a network of networks. So here, the data, which is of course the jewel in the crown on your ecosystem, on your network, now can be used and consumed by anybody, anywhere on the internet. So you are providing data, trusted data as a service to anybody who needs it, on whatever app they're running, on whatever ecosystem they're running, so that they can then generate quite possibly large volumes of transactions, microtransactions quite possibly, and you and your store will take a cut of each of those microtransactions, which you will share out amongst the equity owners of the network. So unlike the World Wide Web, the protocols now for the Internet of Value will be owned. And it's important for you to decide which parts of your marketplace where you need to own the protocols for how these new marketplaces are going to evolve.